Greenland.
Table of contents, Greenland.
All about Greenland, with visiting and touring information, geography, history, attractions, and other points of interest.
Dr. Sydney Soclof. Dr. Sydney22@gmail.com. 2023. Narration by Dr. Sydney Soclof.
Zoe Phonemes.
And Nathan Qaqortoq. For a complete discussion of YouTube navigation, please go to tiny.1/ytnavigator. Introduction to Greenland. This is the flag of Greenland.
Greenland is not green. Almost all, over 95%, of Greenland is covered by ice. Only 11% of Iceland is covered by ice. Greenland is the largest island in the world, that is, if you consider Australia to be a continent rather than an island. Greenland is part of Denmark. Greenland represents some 98% of the total land area of Denmark. Greenland lies almost entirely north of the Arctic Circle. Only a tiny part of Iceland is above the Arctic Circle. Greenland is one of the geologically oldest lands, whereas Iceland is one of the newest.
Where is Greenland?
Greenland is near the top of the world.
Greenland is the largest island in the world.
Here is Greenland between Iceland and the northern reaches of Canada.
Greenland is separated from Canada on the west by the Davis Strait and the Baffin Bay, and from Iceland on the east by the Denmark Strait.
Over 4/5 of Greenland lies buried under an ice sheet, with an average depth of 5,000 feet, 1,500 meters.
The capital of Greenland is Nuuk. The city is also referred to by its Danish name, Godthab.
Greenland is almost entirely within the Arctic Circle and is subject to intense cold and terrible blizzards.
The people of Greenland live only on the rocky coastal fringes, mainly in the southwest part of the island. Greenland is more than 3 times the size of the U.S. state of Texas. It extends about 1,660 miles, 2,670 kilometers, from north to south, and more than 650 miles, 1,050 kilometers, from east to west at its widest point.
2/3 of the island lies within the Arctic Circle. The island's northern extremity extends less than 500 miles or 800 kilometers from the North Pole.
Greenland is separated from Canada's Ellesmere Island to the north by only 16 miles or 26 kilometers.
The nearest European country is Iceland, about 200 miles or 320 kilometers across the Denmark Strait to the southeast.
Greenland's deeply indented coastline is 24,430 miles or 39,330 kilometers long, roughly equivalent to the Earth's circumference at the equator.
Long, deep fjords reach far into Greenland's east and west coasts in complex systems, offering magnificent, if desolate, scenery.
Along many parts of the coast, the ice sheet fronts directly on the sea, with large chunks breaking off the glaciers and sliding into the water as icebergs.
The climate of Greenland is bleak and Arctic, modified only by the slight influence of the Gulf Stream in the southwest. Rapid weather changes, from sunshine to impenetrable blizzards, are common, and result from the eastward progression of low-pressure air masses over a permanent layer of frigid air above the island's icy interior.
We see that average temperatures in July range from -10 degrees Fahrenheit or -15 degrees Celsius in the northern interior to a moderate 55 degrees Fahrenheit or 13 degrees Celsius along the southern coastline. We see that average temperatures in January range from -92 degrees Fahrenheit or -69 degrees Celsius in the northern interior to a surprisingly moderate 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius along the southern coastline.
Average winter January temperatures range from 21 degrees Fahrenheit (-6 degrees Celsius) in the south to -31 degrees Fahrenheit (-35 degrees Celsius) in the north.
Summer temperatures along the southwestern coast average 45 degrees Fahrenheit, 7 degrees Celsius, during July.
The average summer temperature in the far north is 39 degrees Fahrenheit, 3.9 degrees Celsius. Average annual precipitation decreases from more than 75 inches, 1,900 mm, in the south to a meager 2 inches, 50 mm, in the north. Greenland experiences about 2 months of the midnight sun during the summer.
This is the southwestern coastal fringe of Greenland, where most of the population lives. Greenland's geophysical feature is its massive ice sheet, second only to Antarctica's size.
The Greenland ice sheet reaches a maximum thickness of about 10,000 feet or 3,000 meters. It covers over 700,000 square miles, nearly 85% of Greenland's total land area.
Glaciers flow from Greenland's icy mountains and discharge 1 billion tons of ice into the sea every year.
Many of the enormous icebergs are carried into the lanes of ocean travel. The Icefields and Glacier, often moving 100 feet, 30 meters, daily, is among the world's fastest glaciers.
In general, however, the climate of Greenland is bleak and Arctic. Some sections of Greenland have enough soil and warmth to support tundra vegetation and small trees.
The country's vegetation is characterized mainly as tundra and consists of sedge, cotton grass and lichen plants. The limited ice-free areas are almost devoid of trees, although some dwarfed birch, willow and alder scrub survive. The country's vegetation is characterized mainly as tundra and consists of sedge, cotton grass and lichen plants. The limited ice-free areas are almost devoid of trees, although some dwarfed birch, willow and alder scrub survive.
Seals and whales are found in the surrounding waters and were formerly the chief source of nourishment for the Greenlanders. Cod, salmon, flounder and halibut are important saltwater fish, and the island's rivers contain salmon and trout.
In Danish, Greenland is Grönland, and Greenlandic it is called Kalaalleq. The largest ethnic group in Greenland is native Greenlanders, who are Inuit, or Eskimo, with a mixture of European blood. Only 12% of the population was born outside the country. Evangelical Lutheranism is the largest religious denomination. Greenlanders live chiefly by hunting and fishing. Although it is possible to grow potatoes and other hardy vegetables, Greenlanders must import much of their food, clothing, and other necessities. Despite of hundreds of years of Scandinavian influence, many of the island's people continue to practice traditional cultural activities. Folk arts, especially soapstone carving and drum dancing, are extremely popular.
Houses we formerly built of stone and sawed wood, which must be imported, is the modern building material. A few Inuit build igloos for the winter or when traveling.
Nearly all settlements have schools, and all children are required to have elementary education. Literacy is virtually 100%. Over 61% of adults have received primary education, and roughly 25% have also attended secondary school.
This is Qaqortoq in West Greenland.
Roadways in Greenland are limited to short stretches of ice-free coastal areas, and sleds are used inland. Shipping and air service are the principal means of transport. The center of power in Greenland is the Landsting, a parliament whose 31 members are elected to 4-year terms by all adults 18 years of age and older. Greenland's voters elect 2 representatives to the Danish parliament, the Folketing. In 1979, the Danish government granted home rule to Greenland. In accordance with this, Greenland remains subject to the Danish crown, and each Greenlander is a Danish citizen, enjoying equal rights with all other Danes. Greenland's home rule powers include jurisdiction over municipal regulations, taxes, education, the social welfare system, cultural affairs, and the state church. Denmark retains control of the island's constitutional affairs, foreign relations, and defense. This is a Greenland postage stamp. This is another Greenland postage stamp.
The Greenlandic Inuit name for Greenland is Qaqortoq.
Using financial grants from Denmark, Greenland's government provides its citizens with a wide range of welfare services. The Danish government administers free healthcare, and it is available to the island's people. These social services have greatly improved Greenland's health conditions.
Greenland's school system has insufficient native, that is, Inuit-speaking teachers, and consequently, it hires many Danish-speaking and Danish-educated teachers. This is the University of Greenland.
Only about half of the student population has mastered the Greenlandic, that is, Inuit, language, despite its importance in the common practice of using it as the medium of instruction. Education is mandatory for children between the ages of 6 and 15 years. Despite the Western influence exerted by the Danish presence in Greenland, many of the island's people continue to practice traditional Inuit cultural activities. Folk arts, especially soapstone carving and drum dancing, remain popular. 2 pillaks are also still carved, though the distorted, often grotesque figures are now created for art collectors and tourists, not for the magical properties once associated with them.
The island features several museums. The Greenland National Museum and Archives is located in Nuuk.
Numerous sports are played in Greenland, although traveling expenses and weather conditions limit tournaments. Football soccer is very popular, as are skiing, badminton, and handball.
Inuits invented the kayak for hunting, and it is now often used for sport, with championship races held during the summer.
This is a scene of Greenland. The history of Greenland. Migrations of Inuit peoples into Greenland began about 3000 BC. They originated in Asia, and went over the Bering Land Bridge to North America and Greenland.
In 982, Eric the Red, a Norwegian, sailed to Greenland from Iceland and founded a new colony.
Eric landed on the coast of the southern tip of Greenland and gave the island its name.
He called the frozen wasteland Greenland to entice settlers to go from Iceland to Greenland. Note that whereas Greenland is almost entirely covered with snow and ice, Iceland is almost entirely ice-free.
He called the frozen wasteland Greenland to entice settlers to go from Iceland to Greenland. Note that whereas Greenland is almost entirely covered with snow and ice, Iceland is almost entirely ice-free. This was perhaps the greatest real estate scam in history. we see that Greenland is really not green. But is Iceland covered with ice?
This is Iceland in midwinter. We see that it is indeed almost all covered with ice or snow.
However, this is Iceland in midsummer. Summer temperatures melt snow and ice over much of Iceland. The lack of uniform snow cover allows the permanent, though shrinking, ice fields and glaciers to show through. Particularly Vatnajökull Glacier in the southeast.
Iceland has more land covered by glaciers than in all of continental Europe.
The son of Eric the Red was Leif Erikson, who discovered the coast of North America. The son of Eric the Red was Leif Erikson, who discovered the coast of North America.
The son of Eric the Red was Leif Erikson, who discovered the coast of North America.
The Norse or Viking settlements were all in the coastal regions of southern or southwestern Greenland. Beginning sometime in the 13th century, the Norse-Norwegian settlers began interacting with the expanding Inuit Thule culture that had appeared in northern Greenland about 1100.
The Norse settlements declined in the 14th century. However, mainly due to a cooling in Greenland's climate, and in the 15th century, they ceased to be inhabited. In 1261, the colony of Greenland came under Norwegian rule. Contact with the settlement ended in the 15th century. The island was rediscovered late in the 16th century by English explorers. In 1721, Hans Egede, a Scandinavian missionary, began a modern colony. When the Union of Norway and Denmark was dissolved in 1814, Denmark assumed control of Greenland.
In 1917, Denmark sold the Virgin Islands to the United States in exchange for recognition of Danish claims to Greenland. Denmark officially proclaimed sovereignty over Greenland in 1921. Norway continued to press its case and, in 1931, formally annexed the coastal region north of Scoresby Sound. In 1933 the World Court decided in favor of Denmark.
In 1940, after the Germans invaded Denmark in World War II, the United States took responsibility for the defense of Greenland. The United States built an air base at Thule, present-day Dundas, during the war. In 1951, Denmark and the United States signed an agreement for the common defense of the island. In 1953, Denmark made Greenland part of the Danish kingdom. The current population of Greenland is estimated to be 57,000, making it one of the least densely populated countries in the world.
The Greenlanders are principally of Inuit, or Eskimo, extraction, but they are strongly admixed with early European immigrant strains. By the 1980s, pure Inuit were found only in the extreme northwest, around Thule and East Greenland. The current population of Greenland is estimated to be 57,000, making it one of the least densely populated countries in the world.
4/5 of the population are native Greenlanders, and 1/6 are immigrant Danes.
The population of Greenland is widely dispersed, mostly in tiny coastal settlements. Since the late 20th century, there has been a growing movement to towns as more people have rejected the traditional lifestyle. The official languages of the island are Greenlandic and Danish. English is also spoken. Although Lutheranism is the official religion, traditional beliefs, including shamanism, are still practiced by some. Because of emigration levels, Greenland's population growth rate was almost zero at the start of the 21st century. Life expectancy is comparable to the world average, with males living about 65 years and females 72 years.
The official languages of the island are Greenlandic and Danish. English is also spoken. Although Lutheranism is the official religion, traditional beliefs, including shamanism, are still practiced by some. Because of emigration levels, Greenland's population growth rate was almost zero at the start of the 21st century. Life expectancy is comparable to the world average, with males living about 65 years and females 72 years.
The island's dependence on the fish industry, which is susceptible to problems of overfishing and fluctuating prices, became a growing concern in the late 20th century.
The government attempted to diversify its economy, emphasizing the tourist industry. Since the 1990s, revenue from tourism has grown significantly.
Agriculture is possible on only about 1% of Greenland's total area in the ice-free southern regions. Hay and garden vegetables are the only crops raised. Most ice-free land is pastured for sheep and reindeer, raised for meat, wool, and milk.
Hunting is still important in the northern districts, where seals, foxes, and polar bears are caught for their meat and pelts. Greenland has commercial deposits of lead, zinc, and chrylite. Exploration during the 1970s uncovered promising deposits of uranium, copper, and molybdenum, and a massive deposit of gold was discovered in 1989. Still, climatic and ecological considerations severely limit the exploitation of mineral resources. Zinc and lead are the principal ores mined. Greenland has commercial deposits of lead, zinc, and chrylite. Exploration during the 1970s uncovered promising deposits of uranium, copper, and molybdenum, and a massive deposit of gold was discovered in 1989. Still, climatic and ecological considerations severely limit the exploitation of mineral resources. Zinc and lead are the principal ores mined. Fishing remains the most critical industry in Greenland, though sheep raising is also significant. The production of canned fish and fish products contributes to most of the domestic products derived from manufacturing, though animal products, chiefly skins, furs, and hides, are also important.
Besides supplying domestic needs, fish and crustaceans constitute Greenland's principal export. The chief industrial products are frozen, tinned, dried, smoked fish, and processed mineral ore concentrates. Greenland's principal trading partners are Denmark, Norway, Germany, and the United States.
Exports include chrylite, a scarce mineral used in separating aluminum from its ores, fish and fish products, and hides and skins. Lead and zinc are important mining products, and molybdenum and large uranium deposits have been discovered. The island receives financial aid from Denmark. Its official currency is the Danish krone. The exchange rate is approximately $1 equals 7.0 DKK Danish krone. The Bank of Greenland is the only bank with headquarters in Greenland.
The island receives financial aid from Denmark. Its official currency is the Danish kroner. The exchange rate is approximately $1 equals 7.0 DKK Danish kroner. The Bank of Greenland is the only bank with headquarters in Greenland.
Currency exchange rates can change daily. For the latest exchange rate, click on this icon. Currency exchange rates can change daily. For the latest exchange rate, click on this icon.
Currency exchange rates can change daily. For the latest exchange rate, click on this icon.
This shows the location of Qaqortoq. The primary industries are government and trade. The capital of Greenland is Nuuk, but Qaqortoq is the main governmental center of southern Greenland.
Qaqortoq is a town of about 3,500 population. Qaqortoq is pronounced Qaqortoq, with the KH representing somewhat of a guttural sound. Qaqortoq means white place in Greenlandic, the native Inuit language. Qaqortoq was founded by Norwegian trader Anders Olsen in 1775. It was first named Juliana after Queen Juliane Marie of Denmark.
Most inhabitants of Qaqortoq are Inuit, but there is also a significant Danish element. The town is bilingual, with both Greenlandic, the native Inuit language, and Danish spoken. English is the third language.
Scenes of Qaqortoq.
This is Qaqortoq.
This is Qaqortoq Harbor. This is the Qaqortoq Tourist Information Center.
These are houses in Qaqortoq.
This is the Torvet Town Square fountain, dating from 1928. This is the only one in Greenland.
This is the Torvet Town Square fountain, dating from 1928. This is the only one in Greenland. The Frelserens Kirke, Saviour Church, was built in Norway in 1826. Shipped to Qaqortoq and erected in 1832.
The long white building is the children's school.
This is a view of Qaqortoq. This is the stone and man sculpture.
This is a harbor scene in Qaqortoq. This is a view of Qaqortoq.
This is a harbor scene in Qaqortoq.
This is a view of Qaqortoq. This is a harbor scene in Qaqortoq.
This is a view of Qaqortoq.
This is another view of Qaqortoq. Narsarsuaq.
This shows the location of Narsarsuaq.
This shows the location of Narsarsuaq.
This is approaching the Tunelierfik Fjord and heading for Narsarsuaq in the middle. This is approaching the Tunelierfik Fjord and heading for Narsarsuaq in the middle.
The name of Narsarsuaq in the Greenlandic, Inuit, language means the big plain, but in fact, it's just a relatively small flat area. A U.S. supply base was constructed here in April of 1941. The base was known as Blue OS-1. It was used as a way station for bombers crossing the Atlantic Ocean. This is a view of Narsarsuaq.
By 1945, Narsarsuaq had become the largest settlement in Greenland, with a population of 12,000 and was like a small U.S. town. Today it has reverted to being just a tiny town, with the main focus being the international airport. This is a view of Narsarsuaq.
This is the Qaqortoq Fjord.
This is another view of the Qaqortoq Fjord.
Greenland has a local anthem used by the self-governing Inuit people. It was adopted back in 1916. Two Danes, Henrik Lund and Jonathan Peterson, wrote the words and music, respectively. Greenland has a local anthem used by the self-governing Inuit people. It was adopted back in 1916. Two Danes, Henrik Lund and Jonathan Peterson, wrote the words and music, respectively. This is more of the Greenland national anthem.
This is more of the Greenland national anthem. This is more of the Greenland national anthem. Recommended videos, Greenland.
Recommended video, top 10 places to visit in Greenland.
Recommended video, Greenland. Top 70 tourist places. Recommended video, top 10 best places to visit in Greenland.
Recommended video, YouTube navigation.
Recommended video, YouTube navigation.
Recommended videos. Walking tours of Greenland. For a street-level experience of Greenland, view the video walking tours. It's the next best thing to being there. Recommended video, walking tour. Greenland. Playlist.
Table of contents, Greenland.
Thanks for watching. Please watch some more of my great videos.